All right. So I feel like we have had some calls that have really given us guidance as we kick off the new year. And they're pretty simple things and topics that we've been talking about. But today we're going to pull from one of the Slay Squad calls. If you're not currently in the Slay Squad 2024 group on Facebook, um, text me separately and we'll make sure we get you in there because they have some really good calls and trainings in there, and you do have to request access. So this one was from last week, I believe, and it is about creating content and kind of like a roadmap to posting to your ideal client. And I think it's going to serve all of you. So you can definitely go listen to it yourself if you would like to. But I'm just going to do a little kind of, we're going to work through it real time. I wrote down the questions she asked and all the good stuff. And obviously the whole call is great, but we're going to kind of shorten it. And I want you guys to take notes, whether it's in your phone, on paper or whatever. This was the call from Nicole. I will post a screenshot of it as well when I post the link so you know what we're referencing here. So I feel that personally my posts are struggling and I'm trying to figure out and I just can't. So I'm really excited to do this. I've been focusing in, like, just to give you guys some background, I've been focusing in on posting during my ideal time on Instagram. You can find that in your professional dashboard if you have a business profile, but I just feel like it's not working. So I'm super excited to kind of shift my focus away from just the time I'm posting to like switching up content. And it seems very similar to maybe what Holly Hillier is doing, just from like her examples and stuff. So I think this is really going to serve you guys. And finding an ideal client is basically like, there's tons of trainings on this, but as we go through this exercise, I want you to think who your person is that you're talking to. Who's your ideal client? Is it your old self that had struggles XYZ that you're talking to that person that's struggling right now so you can help them? Or is it your current season of life? Is it motherhood? Is it something focused on your job? Like, who do you feel like you're speaking to? And I'm not going to go into more detail than that. If you need some guidance of like who your ideal client could be, we can talk about that on another call, or I can recommend some podcasts. But this is more about creating content for that ideal client. So picture this ideal client in your head and who you're talking to, what you want to share with them. And we're just going to go through a few different questions that she had. Basically, you guys brainstorm throughout the call, and we'll take a few minutes, write some notes, and then from there we will, do you want to share it in the chat? You can share it in the chat if you want. And then we'll go into kind of what different types of content can look like. So hopefully by the end of this, you can have some sort of plan for your content, which is where we get a lot of our new followers and a lot of the new eyes on our page, which then turns into growth in our business. So question number one, knowing your ideal client, what are their problems and struggles? And this is not vague and broad. This isn't something where it's like, well, down the road, I want to be a healthy when I'm older. Like, I think that was her example. This is urgent. Like, what do they want to change now? What is like an immediate problem or struggle they have right now? And a huge emphasis that she talked about throughout this whole call was like using your people's words that you're talking to. So I know we try to get fancy and I do this, so I'm going to call myself out, but it's like, fuel your body, fill your cup. Like, if you were out like having it like coffee with a girlfriend, what would they say or what would you say? And she gave some really good examples in the call, but it's not like, so are you feeling your body? Like, would you say that to your friend? No, you'd say, like, how are you feeling? Do you want to eat ice cream every night too, like me? Or something like that. Like, find a more specific, relatable problem or struggle. Let's take a few minutes to do that. I'm gonna grab something to write on my paper with that's hard. And as a side note, this could be for like clients or for the business opportunity as well. She focused a lot on clients though. Did we jot some notes down? All right. Question 2. What is your ideal client's values or interests? And this is something where you're going to connect your story to them. So you're going to share that value. Um, so maybe these are values or interests you have, which would then relate to your ideal client as well. And I think an example for this that she used is like interest is she's not just targeting moms, but she explained how she's kind of like the mom that still goes off for a run and doesn't care or lets her kids play alone. So like maybe it's narrowing it down another step and niching it down to a specific kind of mom or something like that for an example. All right, question 3. Know your ideal client's consequences of not changing. And I thought this one was really cool because it talks about not time or money, which is a lot of like what we say. We always try to address time and money because that's what people say why they can't join. But a lot of the time, that time and money statement has something, a deeper meaning behind it. Because if they're actually struggling and have a pain point with what we offer, they're going to pay the money. They will. So it's finding what that pain point is. So, um, I wrote an example she said was do consequences of not changing right now as well. So don't just say because you want to feel good, you can feel good. She used the example of hiding in pictures behind her children, which is related to not feeling good, but she made it more specific in the now. So write down a few things that really define your ideal client. Consequences of not changing now. All right. Question number 4. Know your ideal client's goals and aspirations. Use their words. What do they dream about? Like, what are they looking for? What do they wish was different in their lives? Their goals and aspirations. All right. And last question is, know your ideal client's excuses for not changing. And for this one, think of your excuses. And um, you're really here trying to shift their limiting belief. An example would be, if money's an excuse, um, her example was, well, we have a 30-day money back guarantee, give it a try. So shift their limiting beliefs as for why they are not changing. Another example could be, well, it never worked for me before, or every time I do something like this, I feel like I'm starving and on a diet, or something along those lines. Your ideal client's excuses for not changing. All right. So you guys can keep brainstorming with these. I know this is the first time I'm actually like writing down mine, and it's a lot to think about. And I know I didn't give you much time. So definitely go back through this call because it gets your brain going, and it's okay to just start writing and get into rabbit holes and sayings and whatever, because those can be really good content pieces for your posts. Um, and as different people say stuff to you in messages, write it down in the notes on your phone and use it as a post, or use it as something if it identifies with any of these. Um, so from there, once you answer all those questions, she goes into sharing like what her content looks like and how you can group different things together and the different types. So I'm just going to briefly go over this, but like I said, I recommend watching the call. Um, so there's 4 different um, types of content that we can post. And I think we all struggle with this. We're like, either I feel like I'm repeating the same thing all the time, or I don't want to do a call to action at the end of every call or every post because that's annoying. So she said, ask them to buy 1 out of 4 times. And the 4 types of posts are building trust. And that's like giving value or information. You see a lot of things on Instagram that are like tips or top 3 blah, blah, blahs. So you can have a post about trust and giving them value. But when you're adding value, you still want to make sure you are adding your story to it, your personal touch, because people aren't going to connect with lists all the time of the top 5 this and the top 3 that. Another form of content you can post is what she calls like. So this can be a vulnerable post or relatable post. And this is really just telling that story, sharing something that your ideal client's going to relate to that's kind of hard for you to share. Um, And maybe it's not related to health and fitness, but maybe it is. So what's that thing that like, for example, if my ideal client is a mom that's going to be 2 under 2, but wants to not be the mom doing chores while baby sleeps, like I could I've been sharing, like, my vulnerable posts lately have been like about maybe a struggle I've had with pregnancy, or taking my toddler out in public, like I did one today about like getting nervous to meet other moms because toddlers are insane and you never know what they're going to do, and then you're trying to focus and be friendly and they're like running away. It like gives me anxiety about like thinking about it. I'm like, okay, we got this. So that could be an example, like something that they can relate to. The third type of post is no, like have them feel, relate, and I don't know what that last word I wrote is, but very similar, maybe less vulnerable. And then the number 4 would be buying, like a call to action. So give your whole spiel, like your transformation or something like that, and then give them a call to action. Maybe they're dropping a word to get a freebie, but they're getting something. So that whole time, every single post isn't like trying to get them to do something, but it's a lot of like relating to them, wanting them to come back. Um, what? Oh, the no post, is that the one she said that could go viral? One of them, she's like, post something that you just know everyone's going to relate to and it could go viral, and it's just like a fun post. So that's an option as well. I can't remember which is which, but go watch the call. And honestly, I think it just gives you a nice breakdown of like, okay, I don't need to sell all the time. That's not our job. We need to relate to our ideal client, get them connected to us, share stories, really build that relationship, and have them coming back to our content. So when they want to come back and then they see our little bits and pieces of health and fitness and join us and accountability and community, like they want to join you because you've built this trust with them. Um, so on the other side of like what your actual post could look like, we have reels, which you're all familiar with, the videos. We have carousels where you've seen someone put like words up and you have to swipe through. And those are really good if you're giving people value or information or recipes or whatever. And then static. So you have a picture, just one picture. So she did this cool chart of like how she takes each of the questions, and you can go through like question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the week that I shared with you, and then choose, is it going to be a reel, a carousel, static, and then choose if it's going to be a trust post, a like post, a no post, or a buy post. And she really breaks it down. And there's a million options you could do. And she puts it in an Excel. I think the Excel is available to all of us. So you can literally use it and edit it to create content. And you could say for the whole month of February, break it down. Thank you. Break it down and say, okay, here's my focus. I'm focusing on problems. It's going to be a reel, and it's going to be a post that is vulnerable and relatable. Then you go and it's Monday and you're like, I don't know what to post. Oh, let me go to my chart, and there you go. Think of something and then go to your paper that says, oh, what did I write down for my main ideal client thoughts for that question, and create a post. And it's okay to replicate. It's okay to repeat yourself in different ways and tell a very similar story that's a little bit different to relate to that person. And basically, in the end, we, in my opinion, we overthink what we're posting. We get scatterbrained in this and that when it can be super simple and streamlined as long as you're talking to your ideal client. So I hope that kind of gives you some clarity of like, always remember who you're talking to. And honestly, my other point of this is Don't sell something every time. Share stories, be relatable, give value, and really just work from your heart and like what you truly believe in. I think that's going to get you the furthest. They're signing up to be with you, not the company. So I know I'm personally going to take some extra time to like go through my notes again and the questions and really like narrow it down because I didn't give us a lot of time to think. But I really am excited to do this for my content and see how it works for the whole month. Um, how are you guys feeling? Does this help? Did you have, if any of you watched that call, do you have any other takeaways or anything you want to share?
I think one additional thing from watching the call was, in addition to all of these steps, something that really stuck out to me was the consistency and repetition of it all. And we talk about that, and I feel like I'm good at that, but then I realized I wasn't, because they talk about the top partners of this company. And if you've been a partner for a while, we all know their stories. If you've been on any of these power hours or in the Slay Squad, we all know Holly Hillier, how she was an engineer and she made six figures and then she quit that and became this. We know that Christina Delgado, I know her entire story of how she walked out of her lawyer's job and how her husband handed in his resignation paper, the steps they were on. Like, I have the whole visual, like I was there. I know about Julie Boris's chair, her park bench story, and all of that. And it's because every single time they are on any platform, they tell the same story, because that's their story and it speaks to so many people and somebody hasn't heard it before. And so for me, realizing that, like, my consistency, like, yeah, I'm consistent with my workouts. I show up every day. I'm consistent with my energize. I take that every day. But am I consistently sharing my story of like how I got here, how I got from working out in the gym every day to doing body workouts to joining the partner opportunity? No. I share that probably like once a year, to be honest. So like that was a big takeaway for me, is like I need to figure out my story just like they say it. And every time they say it, like Julie Boris, it will almost be verbatim, like a script of her park bench story is exactly how she told it the last time she was on a stage and told that story. And so figuring out, like, for me, what my story is that can be the same narrative that people know, and that's just, yeah. So outside of like the posting content, just figuring out what that looks like for me, I'm still kind of trying to figure it out. But yeah, and I've already just made shifts, even just like my Disney post the other day, like share this with someone who doesn't want to leave Disney. That was like very intentional after watching these and being like, okay, so that's a post that I'm not selling in, because otherwise all my other posts on my feed, I have been, and it's been always tied to mindset or personal development or joining my group or whatever. So these last Disney posts, I was like, they are just going to be Disney posts. And but yeah, just intentionally shifting it up and being mindful about that.
Thank you for sharing that. And that could be another thing, like you said, just figure out what your story is. And it can change and adjust over time, but there's got to be that moment in your life where it was like, this changed it. This was my turning point. This is when I said yes to coaching or something of that regard. And I love that you shifted your Disney posts. And I think, I mean, we say it all the time. We get the likes and the loves on the posts that are like family or fun or relatable, but have nothing to do with our business. So this call gave me clarity because kind of gets confusing what we're all the leaders are sharing. It's like recipes, content, consistency of the same thing every day. But I, I truly believe having this sprinkle of content that's not all business related, but still talking to your ideal client is huge. Like it's going to keep them coming back because no one wants to be sold to every post. And I think that's where I personally am stuck as well. So awesome. Anyone else have any thoughts or things they want to share?
I like how she said, like, and Abby, I know you've done this in the past, is like resharing stuff you've posted before and just like putting it back out there. If it had good movement, if it had good traction, there's no reason that you can't reshare that. And I was like, oh, so like refurbishing your ideas, stories. So I thought that was cool. And I know you utilize that a lot. So
Yes, we always make it harder on ourselves thinking it has to be something new every time, but really it's just maybe saying it a little different way, but it's the same story, or using the same thing, but changing the video behind it or something. I know Becky did that as well with like a lot of her business partner posts. It's like switch the theme or switch whatever, but it's the same general concept because it did well. Awesome. Yeah, so I think this can take some time and shifting and figuring out and all that good stuff, and that's okay. But I think it's really cool to just every time you're sitting down, having a plan if you struggle with posting in general. And then just remember you're talking to your ideal client. What would your ideal client, you, your past you, whatever that is, want to hear today, need to hear, be coming back to? Like when you scroll social media, which profiles do you go back to more? Would you go back to your stuff or would you be annoyed of your stuff? So that's a really good comparison too. And honestly, don't overthink it, just post. I could read over things a million times and I'm like, and sometimes I put a timer up and say, all right, it is what it is. After 5 minutes, that's all you get. Put it up and it's fine. So I challenge you guys to do that as well. Um, so yeah, that is all I have. Like I said, I'll post the recording. Under the recording, we can post the actual call so you can find it on Slay Squad 2024. You'll see all the files there as well. I know Becky shared them on this call. Other than that, did you guys have any questions as we get ready to wrap up this month with the buy one get one sale, how it's shifting to the sale into February, or anything new coming? Because we have tomorrow, which is the 31st, is the last day of the month. So anything housekeeping wise that you wanted to ask or share or anything of that sort?
Just one thing, and Abby, I tagged you in it this evening. Um, but I can tag anyone else if you need it. So outside of the Slay Squad call and the platinum presenters, it's body platinum presenters specifically. Um, and I think Slay Squad actually posted the same thing, but I actually have it printed out, this schedule of the power hours for every power hour that they are having from February 5th to June something. So it's like the whatever until the next quarter. And Christine Dwyer got on and talked about like the multiple different time frames that they're having. They're having one at 9 a.m. Eastern, which is 8 a.m. Central, and then 1 p.m. Eastern, and then 9 p.m. Eastern, and that's every single day. And then Saturday and Sunday, they're having different ones. The first Wednesday of every month is one to add two partners to your team. So I have made that a priority, and she basically said there's no excuse to not get a power hour in. And it really challenged me personally. So I think it would be good for everybody to go look at that and maybe sign up or dedicate yourself to like one power hour at least per week, if not more. And then I'm prioritizing the first Wednesday of the month. Um, But yeah, I thought that was really good. And just listening to her talk, she was usually, I feel like Christine Dwyer is more like a kind of hard ass, like straight to the point. But today in that video, she wasn't. She was very much like welcoming and encouraging, and it just like gave me a different feel. So I really liked listening to her. And just as an FYI, they did say that the Slay Squad Tuesday night calls are now every other Tuesday. So it's not just every Tuesday. So keep that in mind. But yeah, I thought that was big, and I'm gonna try to dedicate myself to this schedule a little bit more and take some intentional action. So if anyone wants to do it with me, I'd be happy to let you know what times are working for me these days.
Thank you. Yeah, I took note to listen. I didn't listen to it all. I was cooking dinner, but power hours are awesome because they give you a different perspective from your normal checklist in our daily activity tracker. So thank you. Thank you. I think it's a great goal to really commit to, even if it's one a week, you could have one focus that you use literally for the whole week and see how it works for your business. So awesome. The last thing, because it's almost February and I can't even believe it. I did get like the scoop for February. The only thing that's standing out to me that I'm going to post in our team page so you guys can read up on is about all the different Success Club um, like programs and clubs and earnings and stuff to get y'all excited, because our job is to help people, but like helping people equals Success Club, and Success Club equals extra cash bonuses, especially if you've signed up in the last year. So 2023, 2024, or you never hit Success Club, you qualify for so many perks in this business. So I'm going to post them in our team page. And if you have any questions, you can ask. But it's just exciting what we get to do. So I hope you're as excited as I am, even though I'm like, how is it February already? Because you guys are doing amazing and helping people and changing people's lives, no matter whether you feel like you are or not, they're watching you. So keep showing up and all that good stuff. And that is all I have. Any other final closing thoughts? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, not to like bring it up and be negative, but I sent Abby a screenshot last night and I just want to make sure that nobody else got this weird email about how Body is selling sex, because Arbonne people are sharing this. I don't even, let me see if I can find what I sent to Abby. It has to be a fake email because I sent it to other girls that are from Cincinnati and they're like, there's no way that that's real. It says, this is what it looks like. So it says, it's scientifically proven that fitness and healthy eating can improve your sexual performance and enjoyment. So let's help you steam things up in time for Valentine's Day. I just want to make sure no one else got this email because Arbonne is using this. Like, I guess this, I saw a reel the other day. This girl had a body hat on and she literally was ripping Body apart because of this email. And I was like, I text Abby and I was like, did you get a weird email? Like, I didn't get an email. And she's like, I didn't get an email. So I just want to make sure.
You need to fix your algorithm, Kareen. That's all I'm hearing is you are on the wrong
It's
side of the
because these are
internet.
girls that used to be body coaches and were my friends, and now they're blasting Body. I just need to unfollow them. But
Yeah,
yes.
you're on the wrong side of the internet.
Ugh. So I just
Who
want to make sure that no one else got that because this has to be like somebody had to have created this.
who does it say it's from? Like, what's the
It says
mailing
like
address?
it's well, so it's covered up.
They
That's what's convenient.
conveniently had an alarm going off from the
Yeah.
two to cover it.
Oh, I thought. So wait, I thought you got that email?
No. So a girl that used to be like 5-star diamond coach, she was like one of my friends, jumped ship and started Arbonne. She posted on her story, but I saw a reel
Okay.
popped up that somebody had shared, another Arbonne person had shared, and she was pretty high up with Beachbody as well. So that's why I was like, what is this? What is this nonsense? I just want to make sure that no one else, like, there's no email. So that's why I'm just like, I don't understand, like, who had the time to create something like that and then share it. And they're like tagging Body in it too, and Carl. So that's why I think it's weird. Okay.
In the end, it makes me think that I would never even want to work for their company if they're bashing other companies, especially if they know it's not real.
Connor goes, well, I mean, you guys kind of are, because you're like, you're getting sexier with working out. I'm like, yeah, but they're not like explicitly saying we're selling sex. Like,
That's insane.
yeah.
But in the context of bringing it full circle in what we're talking about content and posting, in that know of things that go viral, there is psychology towards people that want to see, like, you don't scroll past the horrible car crash, or if you're driving
Yeah.
past it, you need to see the
What it is.
tragedy that's happening. There's actual neuroscience behind it. And so with the viral and relatable, and look how much that went, and people continuing to share it. And so what that likes and shares, as far as just your account and getting the traction on there, it's not positive marketing for them and their business. And like Abby said, I don't want to work for a business that's the scheme is like slandering to get good views and likes and content and things. But it is for sure a tactic of marketing, and you can see here that it's working. So there's that.
Yes, people will do anything for views. So I would say kind of work from your heart and what your values are. And I think it's really fake, because if something actually went out like that, I think Carl would address it, because he is a very genuine CEO. So yes, I think it's kind of a lesson of your values and how you want to run your business. But I'm glad no one else has seen that. I'm like, I even checked my junk and my deleted and my I'm like, did I see that? I don't know. All right. Anything else at all? All right. Well, I will share that stuff in the morning so you can check it out with the recording. And I hope you all have a great night, and I appreciate you calling in. Talk to you later. See you guys.